Hello everyone! In this video I will explain something to you about how to rearrange formulas. For that I will introduce a riddle to you, which requires us to set up some formulas, and these formulas have to be rearranged before we are able to solve the riddle. So the riddle goes as follows. John has a farm with goats and chickens, and on that farm he counts a total of 48 heads and 134 legs. So the question is, with that information, how many goats and how many chickens does he have? To solve that, let's first set up some variables. Let's call the amount of goats G and the amount of chickens C. Now, since every goat and every chicken will obviously have one head, we can say that the amount of goats plus the amount of chickens, G plus C, equals 48. As every goat has 4 legs and every chicken has 2, we can also say that 4 times G plus 2 times C equals 134. Now, as you may see, these formulas are not written in a way we are used to. They are not written as G equals something or C equals something. They have both variables at the same side of the equal sign. To be able to solve this problem, we have to write it in the way we are used to. And that is called rearranging. So we have these two formulas, and it would be much more convenient if they were written, for instance, as C equals something. So let's start with the first one. There only G is in the way, so we do minus G on both sides. And that will give us C equals 48 minus G. The second one is a bit more difficult because we don't want to know what 2C is, we need to know just what C is. But first we need to get rid of whatever is added to or subtracted from that 2C. So in this case we have to get rid of that 4G. So we do minus 4G. That leaves us with 2C on the left side and 134 minus 4G on the right side. To get from 2C to C, we have to divide by 2. But this is where it gets a bit more challenging than a regular balance method, because when we're solving an equation, we only have to divide a number by 2. But now we have 134 minus 4G, which is divided by 2. And it turns out that that is the same as 134 divided by 2 minus 4G divided by 2. And this does make sense. If you have 134 apples and 4 oranges, and you divide that over 2 people, then you have to divide both the apples and the oranges. You always have to divide all the terms. Everything that is added and subtracted has to be divided separately. Just to be clear, factors do not follow this rule. If things are multiplied by each other, you only have to divide one of the two. And it's up to you which one. But as long as we're working with terms, things that are added or subtracted, every one of them has to be divided. So in this case, we end up with C equals 67 minus 2G. Now, if we write formulas like this, as C equals something with G, we call that expressing C in terms of G. The other way around, if it was G equals something with C, it would have been express G in terms of C. But here we have a formula that tells us what C is, it expresses C. If we're able to do a calculation with G in terms of G. So it's important to keep track of which way they want you to do it if they use this terminology. So we finally have these two formulas and we can finally solve our problem, because if C equals 48 minus G and also C equals 67 minus 2G, then 48 minus G equals 67 minus 2G. And now we can simply use the balance method to solve the equation. First of all, minus 2G is the lowest amount of G's, so let's get rid of that by doing plus 2G in this case. And that gives us 48 plus G equals 67. And then to find only G, we have to get rid of that 48. So we do minus 48 on both sides. And we see that G equals 19. It is now easy to find C because we know that C equals 48 minus G. So C equals 48 minus 19 is 29. And we can conclude that John has 19 goats and 29 chickens.